Welcome back to Rebel Radio. I am so excited to dive into yet another epic Rebel Radio conversation with my new friend, Chancellor. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here today.
Hey, blessings and balance to you, Cindy. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we went live, I shared a little bit of your numerology and your ruling number 3. I would love to know if you could share with our audience what was something that we were like, oh, yeah, that's totally me when I shared that with you.
Amplification, you know what I'm saying? And creativity, definitely. I realized, well, I always been creative, but you know what I'm saying? I played football, basketball in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just, we can get creative as far as the drills we doing, but that's as far as I really allowed my creativity to expand. Uh,
Mm.
that came to an end. And I was like, okay, damn. What's next? What we, you know what I'm saying? What we gonna do? Who are we? Like, yeah, I have no clue. So I know I got to try something. You know what I mean? So just searching. You know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying, and just finding myself, trying different things, trying new hobbies, um,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing, man, I'm really creative, and
Yeah.
I can, you know what I'm saying, come up with some. I can put some fire ass shit together. No cap.
I love that. I love that. Now, you've written a book about a story that you experienced when you were in Beijing. Can you tell us about what happened first and foremost, and tell us a little bit about the book, this
uh,
creative expression that you've done?
yes. Um, Pretty much. I lived in China from October 10th, 2018, April, about April 17th, day, 2019. Um, I landed my first job out there after I graduated from college, Stetson University, with a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. But ironically, I was teaching English to children. Um, it was absolutely amazing, best experience I ever had for sure. I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed the food, the culture, area, goddamn foreigners. Like I enjoyed everything about the experience. And then come April 4th, the paradise or just the vacation essentially comes to an end.
Mhm.
screeching in. Um, and I'm arrested for marijuana
Hmm.
and detained for 14 days in a Beijing penitentiary where I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 people in one cell, 9 wooden beds. All I had was one plastic bowl and one plastic spoon for those 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Quite the experience to go from like playing in another country and experiencing using that 3 to amplify all of this amazingness to then being locked up in such extreme conditions too.
Facts.
It must
Facts.
have been terrifying.
Well, nah, it wasn't. The most terrifying part was when the police first arrived to at my apartment, just randomly. That was the most fearful part, just because I was just like hanging on to the hope that they don't come across the rest of my stash. But once they, you know what I'm saying, did, and it was like it is what it is. All the fear was gone after that point. It's like shit. I just gotta hold myself accountable.
Mm.
Now, what the hell is gonna happen? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's gonna happen, but hey, take note of every minor detail. Enjoy this high one last time, and it's gonna be a great story to tell when it's all said and done.
I love that attitude. And so you did tell a story. You wrote a book about your experience. Tell us a little bit about the book.
So it's pretty much just about literally the last 14 days, my last 14 days in China. Um,
Mhm.
as soon as you got to afford introduction, and then chapter one is day one, April 4th, and everything popped off. You know what I'm saying? We jumped straight into the action, and then it's literally walking you through the entire my incarceration process. But along the way, you meet other people that I'm locked up with, and you learn about their process and um, their stories and their backgrounds. Um, it's very, very interesting characters within the story. Like my story is crazy, but it's some that are just like mind blowing for real, for real. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, all in all, you know what I'm saying, no information was explained to me at all. So here I am. I've been arrested for some weed. These folks just transport me to different precincts, and we, you know what I'm saying, next thing I know, we at the actual facility. I've done signed a bunch of documents. Couldn't read and thumbprinting them, and I ain't asking no questions. They not talking to me, so I was like, "Nah, I'm just in this facility. You know, I don't know what's going on, how long I'm gonna be here. Nobody knows I'm here. Uh, it's not looking too too good.
Wow, and did you speak the language at all?
A little bit, like just enough to move and groove. As far as having an in-depth conversation like you and I are having right now, it's quiet. It's not happening.
Right. So you were completely in the unknown, not knowing what was gonna happen to you, how long you were gonna be there. Wild,
Yeah,
wild.
it was crazy.
No kidding. So how did you I mean, without spoiler alerts on the book, can you tell us how you got out?
I mean, shit, one morning they just call your name. Like literally,
You're going home.
you just yeah, you don't know. That's why the book's so good because the whole time I didn't know. I'm here to tell you I did 14 days. You'll see that as you read. You don't know what's well. You mean, of course, you know it's 14 days, but you know what I'm saying. You'll see like, well, you don't know what's going on.
Wow. And the people that were in your cell with you, did anyone in that cell speak English?
The first 3 days, no, I was the only foreigner, only English speaker in the cell. So of course they want to talk, but we just can't. You know what I mean? So it's just no communication the first 3 days. So there's a lot of self reflection and just my observation of just what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Ah.
On the fourth day, chapter 4, that's when I moved to a new cell and I'm immersed with two English speakers.
Mm.
Now we can start connecting the dots as far as just how, you know what I'm saying, the jail, what's the rules of the jail, how they work, how they operate, and how this whole process works. But still, as far as how long I'm gonna be here, man, only the clock on the wall would tell.
Wow. That's just a I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I used to teach English overseas as well. I taught in Jakarta, Indonesia, but I can't imagine what it would be like to be incarcerated. No, thank you.
Not there, no. What? I think Beijing better than Indonesia. Nah.
So when you got out, were you like kicked out of the country? It's time for you to leave, or did you stay in China for a little longer?
They took me as soon as I was released. They took me straight to my apartment to pack up the rest of my shit, and then straight to the airport where I was deported within like 4 to 5 hours of being released.
Get out.
On me, yeah.
Wild, wild. So you've written a book. What else are you doing with, your experience? Are you, I think in your profile you said you work with youth. What do you do?
I'm a teacher, football coach, life coach as well, uh, with this nonprofit that works with the youth. I mainly work with at-risk teens, and we use 14 days of being as part of the lesson. Uh,
Mhm.
and it is that's just mentoring and inspiring. You know what I'm saying, helping other aspiring authors that, you know what I'm saying, want to, you know what I'm saying, publish their own book, write their own book. You know what I'm saying, help through the process. And I'm a part of some good stories that's gonna come out soon. Uh,
Mhm.
so I'm excited about that. Uh, but yeah, as far as just the community aspect, everything else is just, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing this just for my marathon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So, working with youth, helping people share their stories with the world, I imagine that there's a sense for you of unity consciousness, of bringing the world into unity. What does unity consciousness mean to you?
Everybody knowing themselves truly and are also open minded to
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah.
Um, and with that open mindedness comes acceptance and
Mhm.
willing to learn and understand. And shit, I feel like with all them things combined, I don't see where drama can arise unless it's just from just personality traits at that point, character traits.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I imagine, 14 days in a Beijing jail cell, you'd have lots of time to get to know who you are
Oh
if you
yeah,
can't communicate with anyone else.
there's nothing else to do in the cell but sit down. Like
Right?
it's
Sit
no,
down and observe human behavior, right?
so,
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So, what kind of rituals or habits do you have in place for yourself as a life coach, as someone who's helping other people? What kind of things do you have in place to help support your life?
uh, definitely I pay homage to my ancestors every Thursday. So I prepare a meal. I got an altar set up, so I lay out the food and I pray to them. You know what I'm saying, thank them for everything. Um, and I've been doing that since before I went to China, just right.
Mm.
Uh, and I feel like that's been very beneficial to my journey. And really just, you know what I'm saying, whatever, just try to find some type of routine, establish some type of routine. I played football vast majority of my life, especially at the Division 1 level. We have a set routine. So it's like I, I feel the most productive when I have a set routine and just, you know what I'm saying, I'm executing everything that I need to execute. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, um, being productive. That makes you feel accomplished. So whatever that is for you, you know what I'm saying, you just gotta find what works for you. You know what I'm saying? In order to do that, you gotta learn yourself and know yourself. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because everybody's going to have different rituals that work for them, right? And what works for you might not necessarily work for me. I can't imagine playing football for most of my life. That's not my Not a sports girl over here, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate it. Definitely going to watch the Super Bowl this year. So
but it's gonna be lit. But that's
I'm excited for the halftime show more than anything. I think the halftime show is going to be great.
who's performing. I don't even know who's
Dr. Dre and Eminem. It's
okay.
going to be good. Yeah. Yeah. So bring it back to, understanding who we are and bringing in this level of compassion and acceptance. I am curious. One of the things that we love to talk about here at Rebel Radio is the conversation of wealth. And wealth means something different to every single guest I've had on the show. And I'm curious, especially with your experience through 14 days in jail in Beijing, what does wealth mean to you?
Mm, um, wealth is wealth. I feel like man, multiple streams. You know what I'm saying? Like your money is for you, for real, for real.
Hmm.
I feel like what and you know what you am and a few M's up the bag. So and you know what I'm saying, your family, the generation. But I feel like um, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, as an author and as someone who's supporting other authors, what's one thing that you wish every author knew?
Shit, like it depends on what type of right.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's fiction, that's gonna be hard. You mean so that's a lot. If you're not that creative writer, very challenging. That's wrong. So I haven't really tried to experiment with fiction yet, but nonfiction, that's easy. That's bro. Like if you telling us, you know what I'm saying, even if it's based on a true story, it's so easy, bro. Just write the story, write it how it actually happened. How
Hmm.
how you would naturally tell in your natural tongue. You know what I'm saying? Write it just like you sending a long ass text message. Write it just like that, bro. Just write that shit. And then once you finish, write the whole story. Just write it, but don't worry about no punctuation, none of that shit. Write it, and then once it's all finished, then go back and do all that editing.
I love that. I love that because I think that allows for more of the creative flow, that creative expression, right? Because if you're all worried about fixing it and making it perfect along the way, you're never going to get into the flow.
You ain't gonna get far. You gonna get burnt out on that shit. For this shit, it's far. I can't, because you looking, you think about it like some school shit. It's not no school shit, bro. Don't think about assignment. I had to tell folks that folks just get traumatized. Like, nah, but it's not school. It's just
Yeah.
your. You know what I'm saying? You can do this however you want to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm actually writing my a book right now too, and so I get that because I'm the kind of person that likes to edit as I go, and that has not been working for me. So my book coach just keeps saying, "Just write the damn thing. Just get it out."
Worry about all that other stuff later.
Yeah, exactly. That's his job. His job to edit, not mine.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. So, if you could share anything with our audience about what's happening in the world right now, I don't want to date the show, I don't want to bring in politics, but everything that's happening in the world right now, what would you share with our audience about how to best support themselves?
Um, how the best to support yourself? Really just, you know what I'm saying? Better. You know what I'm saying? First step before anybody else can believe is you. How the fuck you goddamn? You don't believe in yourself and what you got. Oh, that shit ain't that. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? You gotta take the stand that you willing to die right now. Yeah.
Hmm.
And once you do that shit, the universe will move out of your way. Yeah, real. You gotta believe in yourself though.
Believe in yourself. I love that. So good. Sage advice. Love it. Well, Chancellor, I want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story with us and about your book. And we'll make sure that there's a link to get the book in the show notes so that anybody who's curious about that journey can find that and have a gander. But as always, we end the show with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
Just complete balance.
Hmm. Yeah, that feels nice and easy. Just balance. Just balance. Well, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here today.
Appreciate you.